El presidente de Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, remitió un
The
nuevo
president of Ecuador submitted a new urgent economic bill, which, according to the executive, is intended to dismantle the criminal economy linked to the internal armed conflict. Several analysts agree with this, rejecting the document, starting with the fact that it covers security issues that violate rights, but it is not about economics.
violan los derechos, mas no se trata de algo económico.
Es decir, usted tiene una serie de violaciones.
That is to say, it has a series of violations to constitutional guarantees that have been established, and that have been established with certainty, and that come even from centuries ago.
Desde hace siglos atrás, que son conquistas en el tema de garantizar las libertades y la protección de la integridad.
These are conquests in the matter of guaranteeing the freedoms of the protection of people's integrity. This denaturalizes the subject of a bill on matters of economic urgency, that is to say, yes, it is being misused by the executive for the benefit of complying with the introduction of this regulation.
De cumplir con la introducción de estas normativas.
Por lo que destaca, debería este proyecto ser archivado por el Consejo de Administración.
Therefore, this project should be filed by the Legislative Administration Council, which has the decision to decide whether or not this document should be dealt with within the Parliament. For the constitutionalist, Alberto Montenegro, the Assembly is a body without nuances, without weights and counterweights, for which reason the project will surely be passed.
Yo pensaría que tratarían de evitar.
I would think that they would try to avoid a pronouncement against it for any other repercussion and to avoid any kind of setbacks within the legislature.
Para evitar cualquier tipo de contratiempos dentro del legislativo, ¿no?
It is going to be a state policy. Everything included in this regulation is going to be the way they are going to act during all these 4 years, persecuting, locking up.
Todos estos 4 años, persiguiendo, encerrando.
Pero, ¿cuáles son los principales puntos que preocupan a los analistas? Para empezar, en este
But what are the main points of concern for analysts? To begin with, this document's articles violate the constitutional right to the inviolability of the home because if approved, a court order would no longer be required for searches, nor for seizure and confiscation. In addition, this project violates the constitutional presumption of innocence with the introduction of the categories of suspect or military objective to motivate actions by security agencies.
Sospechoso u objetivo militar para motivar actuaciones de órganos de seguridad.
Prácticamente un retroceso, pero también.
Practically speaking, this is a step backwards, but they are also measures that, by limiting the exercise of rights, give the government in power an open hand so that it can use these situations, not only with organized crime groups, but also with opposition groups.
Otro de los puntos que genera preocupación de
Another point of concern within this project is that, according to analysts, it will allow impunity for the national police and the armed forces because they could continue in service without preventive detention or house arrest while an investigation against them continues.
Continúa una investigación en su contra.
La fuerza pública va a abusar bajo todo.
The public force is going to abuse under any kind of consideration. There will be no limits.
Porque lo grave, o una de las cosas más graves de esta ley, es que el presidente de.
Because the most serious aspect of this law is that the president, in advance or in anticipation,
presidenciales para aquellos funcionarios policiales y militares que en el marco de
will issue presidential pardons for those police and military officials who, within the framework of this law, may disappear or kill citizens.
Desaparecer, matar a ciudadanos.
Sin embargo, lo que por ahora es un hecho es que en los próximos días el Consejo.
However, what is a fact for now is that in the next few days the legislative will announce whether or not it will approve the urgent economic project. In case of being approved, the Assembly has 30 days to pronounce itself.
Gabriela Mena, teleSUR Ecuador.